I got a couple requests after posting this image on my Instagram as to how I made it. So I thought I would show you guys how I color coded my iPhone pages. So here I am doing the green one, and the second page, I decided to make it green because a lot of the icons that I am using here happen to be green. So using the Widgetsmith app, I just created kind of a text box where I put in my channel goals because I want to have those front and center. The next thing that I did was I went looking for the battery widget to add that to the top, and then I put the green apps next to that one and brought the goals underneath that. Then I went on the hunt for all of my kind of gray and black apps because I do want to use the color gray to kind of tie all the pages together. So you can see here I have my red page with gray and now the green and gray page. Now one thing that was really bugging me was the settings app down at the bottom. So I went looking for my TubeBuddy app because that one is also red, and I decided to replace the settings app with the TubeBuddy one. So in here, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just taking that over to my home screen, and then I went ahead and removed the settings app and dropped the TubeBuddy app right down at the bottom. At that point, I could continue with my green page, and I went ahead and opened up the photo widget to put that underneath my goals. Now, what I really like about the photo widget is that you can actually add up to 30 pictures and create like intervals between each picture so that it creates kind of like a carousel effect. So I reorganized my green apps because they got out of order and that was bugging me. And then I put my gray ones next to the photo widget. And then for the pictures, I started with pictures of my son and I, and then of my daughter and I. So for my third page, I really wanted a blue, yellow, and gray kind of color scheme because a lot of the apps that I have on this page happen to have those colors, or at least those are the ones that stand out the most. So I decided to pull up the Smart Stack widget, so because I really wanted that weather widget right at the top because it has that nice blue color. What I didn't realize was that the Smart Stack widget is actually interchanging with all of the other apps. So ultimately, I ended up switching that for just the weather widget, but it has the exact same look. So then I rearranged the rest of the icons around that. But first I moved the calculator app back to the gray page and repositioned the photo widget because they had gotten out of place. So then I went back to my blue and yellow page and rearranged the blue icons next to the weather widget first. And because I already had that weather widget there, I didn't really need the weather icon. So I just went ahead and removed that one and added the LumaFusion one instead. And LumaFusion, for those of you that don't know, is actually a video editing software. It's what I use to edit whenever I am editing on my phone. Then I was basically trying to figure out how I wanted to group the rest of the icons. I knew that I wanted the ones that had the most yellow to be together. So I was just kind of playing around with their positioning, and I ended up grouping a bunch into their own kind of little section. And then I went ahead and looked for the notes widget and brought that over to the screen and rearranged the icons that had yellow right next to those. And I played around until I was pretty much satisfied with the way that they were positioned. Then I went ahead and grabbed that Notions app and dropped it into the productivity section that I had created. And I hid the remaining 2 pages because those apps I'm actually going to clean up and move a lot of them to the app library. So here I'm just kind of looking how the pages look. And I really wasn't satisfied with that productivity section kind of just floating there. So I decided to take those out of there. And as I was doing that, I realized that the maps icon was actually there, and I don't really use the Maps app that comes by default with the phone. I tend to use more of Google Maps. So I decided to remove the Maps application and just leave Google Maps in its place, and that was ultimately how I decided to leave the page. Upon giving everything kind of the look over, I noticed that a couple of the apps had gotten out of order again. So we had the clock app on the blue section and the app store on the gray section. So I went ahead and interchanged those and just rearranged everything back in its place. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's basically how I color coded my iPhone. I decided to do it this way because I didn't really want to be changing a lot of my icons through the shortcut app, and I thought that this was a nice compromise. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you go ahead and color code your iPhone, go ahead and tag me on Instagram because I would love to see your designs. I will go ahead and see you on the next one. Bye.